I was living in Canada, in Nova Scotia, and it was a tough time in my life. I was really concerned about my future financially. My children were only 3 and 5, and I was really scared. I had worked with a network marketing, multi-level marketing company before, and I failed at it. I was going to go into real estate. I really didn't want to. And I stumbled upon Melaleuca. There were a couple things. One was the product line, types of products that everybody can use, catalog shopping. You just refer people and you can generate income. You don't have to carry inventory, no sales involved. I just thought that was great. And the fact that you could actually make ongoing residual income, those two things were the most powerful things for me. And, my initial goal was to make $40,000 a year. And I make far more than that in a given month now, which I can't believe. In 14 years, I've made over $13 million, little old me. And I'm just like every other mother out there, person that's concerned about their financial future. And, to join Melaleuca and build a business, best decision I've ever made in my entire life.
I became a customer in December of 1991, almost 18 years ago. And I have to pinch myself because we have earned over $6,250,000. That's over $362,000 a year since we became customers way back when. And you never would have thought that we would have had an opportunity or even a chance to make that kind of money if you had looked at my background in education. As a matter of fact, I got kicked out of kindergarten and left back in first grade and then again in second grade. And it's not because I wasn't so bright. It's just that being as dyslexic as I am, they didn't know how to educate somebody like me. And that was the challenge that I faced through all my years in school. And by the time I was in the 10th grade, I was already 18 years old, driving and shaving. And after 3 weeks of the 10th grade, I dropped out and joined the military. I was just sort of like a misfit. And after I got out of the military, I was lucky enough to get a job with a phone company. And I really thought I was going to stay there until I retired, just as my father and my grandfather did. And after 11 years being with the same company, on January 3rd of 1990, I lost my job. A decision was made by somebody I'd never met that I was out of work. And that was devastating for me because I didn't know what else I was going to be able to do. And right around that time, while Sherry was 8.5 months pregnant, we found Melaleuca. Well, actually, Melaleuca found us. And we worked our business at the beginning without breaking any records. I think our first check was $42. But within our first full year of working Melaleuca, we had earned a little over $100,000 in our first full year. And I had never seen or dreamed of money like that before. The following year, we made $204,000. That was our second full year in the business. Our third full year in the business, we made over $300,000. And just this last year, we made $451,000 with Melaleuca. I am blown away by that. Delighted and blown away. It isn't about the money so much as it is about the choices. Sherry and I are full-time, stay-at-home parents. And I smile when I make that statement. I love it. They've never been in daycare. We've never had to ship them off to my mom or my sisters or anybody else other than Sherry and I. And we've been that way since my son Matthew was born over 18 years ago. We sent Matthew to a private school. When I was in second grade, it was a challenge. When he was in second grade and we discovered he was dyslexic, we took him out of that school district, which was one of the best in New Jersey, and we sent him to a private school in Princeton. My son Matthew is 18. He's more dyslexic than me. But he's so brilliant. And he's applying to these technical schools now that want him because of who he is and how his brain works. And I know that Matthew would have been dyslexic whether we were involved in Melaleuca or not. We just never would have had the dollars to be able to do the things for him that we did. And I'll always be grateful for that, always for the rest of my life.
I'm 79 years old. I live in Pea Ridge, Arkansas. Well, our introduction was kind of just a happenstance. We were asked to go to a little house meeting and listen to some guy tell us how we could get rich. And I had a preconceived notion, and quite frankly, we only went because to be courteous. Irene pulled on my shirt sleeve and woke me up and said, "I think we ought to do this." And I said, "How much money do they want to get out of here?" And she said, $20. And I said, "Give them the $20. But because of my educational background, I spent the next few days on the phone calling this company with this strange sounding name. And the CEO's name was Vandersloot in Melaleuca. And I thought, no. But actually the story the company told me made a whole lot of sense. Our first check in January of '91 was $13.50. We went to our first convention in Denver in 1991. We were what you would call senior twos today. We were Ruby something. And we needed 4 more directors to get to exec. And because of the emotion we picked up, real emotion, not bunk, at the convention, we came home and developed 4 directors that month and turned senior director. And our September check received in October was $10,000 and change. That's when I looked at it and I figured this is real. Into our 20th year, our cumulative earnings are now something over $3 million. I worked 46 years in corporate America, and my Social Security check is $1,044 a month. Well, our income average now is around $12,500 a month. And what it means to us is that we don't have any problems paying any little bills that come in. We don't owe anybody anything. Melaleuca's got us totally out of debt in 1994. Melaleuca's given us a life. We're able to help everybody and his dog. And in the process, when I lay down at night, I'm okay right here. I know I haven't hurt anybody. And that's, at this stage of my life, is very, very important.
My husband and I sat down and we knew our life needed to change. I had been working with a large bank and the economy had taken its toll on us. Our savings accounts had dwindled and our oldest son was headed to college. But I didn't want to go back to work in the corporate world. I didn't want to go back to work full time. I really wanted to stay home with my boys and be able to be a full-time mom. My good friend, Dr. Barbara Ryan, invited me for a cup of coffee to tell me about what she was doing. And I was very intrigued by Melaleuca. And I went back to my husband and I said, I think this might be something that we could look at. It might give us the ability for me to be able to bring in some extra income so that I don't have to go back to work full time. So we got started. And in February, I enrolled 8 customers. And in the month of March, I enrolled another 14 customers. And my first monthly check was $705, which was fun. But my second monthly check in March was $4,300. And that's when I knew this was going to work. This was going to be a viable business, and I was going to go 100%. And in my 5th month, I received a check for almost $14,000. When I saw that check, I felt very blessed, I felt very proud, and I felt hopeful and accomplished. And the best part about it was that I was able to take the financial pressure off of our family and off of my husband. I remember that he told a group of friends of his, he said, when Angie first started this, I thought if she made $100 a month, I would be thrilled. But she's now able to pay cash for my son to go to college. And that's about the best gift she could ever give me. In my first year with Melaleuca, I made over $120,000. And what that has changed for me and my family is that it's given us our hope and our pride and our control back in our life. Melaleuca is changing the way business is done today. People enjoy word of mouth advertising. Hey, what's a great doctor? You know, hey, where do you get your hair cut? You know, people trust their friends and their family to be able to tell them what products are good. No longer are people trusting the big brands or looking in the phone book for a referral. They really want to know from their friends and their family. In traditional business, there is a lot of money that is spent in advertising and retail distribution. They say the average laundry soap, if it costs $10, $6.50 is spent in advertising and retail distribution. So what Melaleuca does is they simply manufacture the products in our manufacturing plants and then ship the product directly to the consumer So the result of that is better products, safer products, a better value, and revenue sharing that goes right back to you as their loyal customer. We're very thankful that we were able to be introduced to Melaleuca and that it has changed our lives so much. It has given me the control back in my personal life. It's given my husband and I the peace that I missed for a few years. And for that, we're very grateful.
I'm an attorney by trade. I graduated from USC Law School and came to Hawaii, met my husband, and we've had several traditional businesses together after I quit the practice of law 10 years ago. And I referred one of my clients to Valerie Sorensen, who was the person that introduced me to Melaleuca in the first place. And she, at that point, said, "Hey, Tanisha, you really need to take a look at this as a business." And that's when I did. It was timely that she had introduced us to the business side of Melaleuca because we had sold 2 of our commercial buildings, and the income from that was pretty significant, and that completely went away. So we could see the possibility of providing the type of residual income that we were used to replace the income that we lost from our commercial real estate. It was hard for me to take it seriously in the beginning. We put hundreds of thousands of dollars into our business and took out millions of dollars in loans. Whereas with Melaleuca, you don't have to spend that kind of money to generate the same type of returns we were generating in our business or in our real estate. And when I realized that it's a very simple, straightforward business, all you have to do is explain to people that they're saving money and just switching stores, I was able to really start taking off and doing very well, referring more and more customers and duplicating my effort. And then I advanced to senior director too. And around the 15th, when the checks come out, I went online and looked at my check, and my husband was watching TV, and I said, "Oh my gosh, Chris, you're not going to believe what my check was." And he said, "What?" And I said, $7,200. And he said, "No way." I said, "Yes way." So that was really exciting to see that we had almost matched what we were getting from our commercial real estate, our strip mall, the same income with 0 debt as opposed to $1 million in debt. Melaleuca is changing the way business works. With traditional business, you have to borrow money, invest a lot of money. Sometimes you have to get partners. And in Melaleuca, you don't have to do any of those things. You're just simply investing your time. Most of it is where you just invest more of your time, and that's something anyone can do. They don't need a lot of assets or a lot of educational background or anything to do this. My husband and I have a wealth coaching business. We've been doing that for 10 years. One of the things that we teach our clients is that they need to have multiple streams of income. That means that they need to have a plan B, C, D. And part of the reason is because we don't believe there really is any job security nowadays. And with the economy and people's investments in the stock market and in the real estate market, things have turned upside down. So they need to have those alternates just to keep them afloat, to make sure that they have a roof over their heads and things like that. And so Melaleuca provides a great opportunity for people to have that residual income that you just can't find in many other places.
Before Melaleuca, my wife and I owned a dollar rent-a-car in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. We had a hailstorm, and we had a $500,000 loss on just over 100 of our new cars while they were on the ground, brand new in Jackson Hole. And we sold the business, and I invested my money like every smart person should. I didn't do it in the stock market. I invested quite a bit of money in real estate, and thanks to the economy, and my company went bankrupt. The company that I work for went bankrupt December 22nd of last year. And I found myself unemployed gainfully and with a lot of assets but no money to spend. In January, I enrolled January 8th and went to work. I enrolled 16 customers, and I helped one of those 16 become a director, and I hit Director 3 my first month. My first check was $2,240. February, I continued to share these products with other people. I think I enrolled 9 and developed another director, and my check was $3,360. I hit Director 6, and my check was $6,930. The next month, hit Senior Director, and the company bought me a new Mustang Shelby. Crazy. We went to convention. My son called me up and said, "Hey, your Melaleuca check's here." I said, "How much is it?" He said it was $18,362. I looked at my wife and just said, $18,000 in 1 month. That was more money than I made in 1 month when I had a $6 million credit line, 300 cars, 25 employees, and more headaches than you could ever ask for. I've been in Melaleuca just over 10 months. I've made $90,000 in 10 months. It's crazy. Oh, I just about get teary thinking about that. Melaleuca has given my wife and I a reason to smile. I sleep at night now. I will tell you that last October and November, I was on sleeping medicine. I wasn't sleeping a wink. 5 full-grown boys. I'm supposed to provide for them. I married my sweetheart 26 years ago. I'm supposed to provide for her. And I wasn't doing a very good job, but that wasn't my fault. When I was in real estate, I had some of the most incredible listings. But I had to wait for the phone to call. In order for that phone to call, somebody had to have the money to actually come in and buy some of those properties. I was totally acting like I was sitting in the saddle, but I didn't have a hold of the reins. And with my Melaleuca business, I am totally in control of where my horse goes. And I really, really like that.
I was about 40 years old, working 2 full-time jobs. At night I worked on the railroad. During the day I sold real estate. We also had real estate investments on the side. So I was extremely busy. Hardly any time for my family. We decided we were going to make a change. A part of that change was going to keep one of our full-time jobs and find something that would create residual income. About that time, Melaleuca came into our lives. When we first looked at Melaleuca, it was simple. Because all we had to do was refer customers to the company. We didn't have to stock anything, no inventory, we didn't have to pick up and deliver products, didn't have to sell things. And I thought, anybody can do this. So we decided to keep our railroad job and do Melaleuca part-time. Our goal was to get out of debt. And we accomplished exactly that. In our first 4 years, we earned almost $400,000. We was able to spend more time with our family and get out of debt. It's 24 years later. I'm 64 years old. We've earned almost $2.9 million with Melaleuca. And most of that's residual income, money that comes in month after month. Now we have to do a little bit to maintain that, but it's secure, reliable income. And I think most people want that. What that means to us is we've got extra money to invest with. We just bought a brand new home in Layton, Utah to get closer to our grandchildren. We also just paid cash for a brand new car, $40,000 car. Financially, we're set for retirement. If you want to get out of debt, here's the formula. Keep your full-time job and work Melaleuca part-time. Once you're out of debt, I would advise you to keep applying your Melaleuca income towards savings and investments, thereby creating real wealth for you and your family. We've done that. You can do that. It's been the makings for a great life.
If I need to earn an income, how do I do that in such a way that I still feel like I am spending enough time with my children?
So many moms out there are facing having to go back into the workforce, and they're not sure how they're going to get that done. A part-time or even a full-time job just does not seem reasonable.
You know, we want to make sure that we're there for all of the activities. We want to make sure that we can get the laundry clean, that we can get the beds made, that we can get the dinners on the table.
Carpooling the kids and taking them to their sporting events or their dance,
soccer practice and piano practice and
laundry. You gotta, get the kids off to school. You gotta fix dinner.
There's financial worries, there's kids worries, there's lunch worries, there's what's for dinner tomorrow worries, there's how am I going to get 3 kids to 3 different activities all at the same time. Moms are incredibly busy.
None of us have enough money, it seems like, to do all the things we want to do for ourselves and our family. And we all think about, what if something were to happen to me? How would my children be cared for?
At one point in time, we had talked about the fact that if we were both going to have full-time jobs, that we really didn't want to have a family, which is just a really awful thought, that we wouldn't want to have children. But we thought, if we're not able to be there with them and to enjoy them and to raise them, then, one of us is going to need to get out of the corporate world and stay home.
I was working 50 and 60 hours a week outside my home, and I was missing my kids, and I wanted that relationship. I wanted to be home when my son got off the school bus, and I wanted to watch my daughter take all her first steps and her first words and be there for her, and that wasn't going to happen in the situation that we were in.
I'm embarrassed to say that in my daughter's first grade year, I was not able to attend any of her school functions. And if there was a moment when I said things have to change, I vividly remember bolting out of bed and saying, we've got to change this. But I didn't know that there were any options. And so I started actively looking for a way where I could earn a corporate income from home, but I could set my own hours, be my own boss, earn that income that we so needed to support our family. And I found Melaleuca.
Melaleuca has been a huge blessing for my family. And it wasn't necessarily the money or how much money, it was to be available to my babies. And the nature of this business is such that you help people and your income grows. Total earnings with Melaleuca are $585,702.
With me, I'm a single parent. If I did not have Melaleuca in my life, I do not know what I would do. I get the time to coach cheerleading with my daughter. I'm at every basketball practice. I'm at every tumbling practice. I get to take them to music, pick them up. I'm available to them. And while they're in school, I get to work a business and I get to help so many other women out there have the same opportunity that Melaleuca has given to me.
It's allowed us both to stay home and share in the responsibility of parenting. We get to play outside with them. We get to do things with them, throughout the day. Weekends, we enjoy the weekends, but we enjoy every day of the week as well.
Life is amazing. We have been able to take all those dreams off the shelf, dust them off, and make them come true. One of my dreams since childhood had been to add to our family through international adoption. And 4 years ago, we brought home our son, Josh, from Ethiopia. And I always look back and think that $29 decision to build a business has given me my son, which is priceless.
We now are debt-free. We don't live paycheck to paycheck anymore. We plan family vacations and we pay cash for them. And in the last 12 months, we've made $131,088.
You're gonna spend the money anyway. Why not spend the money, have better and safer products in your home, save your family money, and you can also have an opportunity to earn some income at the same time. If you're looking for a solid plan B and something that works, then this is the last business that you will ever have to build.
So in the last year, I've made $202,063 working from home. Melaleuca is the only choice for a mom who really wants to have a legacy, something we can give back that will pay generation after generation after generation.
For me, I've definitely benefited personally. For me to be available to my children, hopefully in 10, 20 years, you're going to have them here on the couch and they're going to talk about their story and what Melaleuca's done for them.
So when I finish a presentation and someone circles category 2 or 3, first thing I do is offer them a high five, and then I pull out a getting started sheet. And on that getting started sheet is their contact list. So I want them to start thinking right there, who do they know that can benefit from Melaleuca? So they pull out the sheet and they make a list of, say, 30 people. Next thing I do is I say, tell me about the people on your list. And I offer suggestions on how I would approach that person. So we want them to get off to instant success.
For someone that's a brand new marketing executive, when I sit down with them in a follow-up session to kind of get them going, I ask them, let me see your list, your contact list, and what are you going to say to these people? And that's a great exercise. I'll even try to encourage them to call a couple of people while I'm sitting there so that I can coach them along. But we'll do a little bit of role playing, and I'll help them figure out what to say.
Posture is that confidence of knowing what you're bringing to that person. You already know the stories of what's been happening in your organization, the many lives that are being enhanced. So when that comes from within, it's contagious.
Make sure you have a strong posture level. That's what people respond to, is a strong posture level. I can give you the words that I use, but it's the way that I say the words. It's the posture level that I exude. It's the confidence in my voice that people respond to.
You have something that can change their life. So when you really internalize that you have a life-changing vehicle, that affects your posture, and that is so important. In order to get the appointment, you really have to have the right posture.
And I think this is the key. You're offering something with unbelievable value to this person. You know, you're not ripping them off. You're not taking advantage of them. You are offering them a better quality product than what's in the grocery store and a way to generate income without risk. So you have to feel that way yourself, that this is something good. They need to not say very much. That's what the presentation is for. The presentation is 45 minutes. That's their opportunity to tell people exactly what's going on with Melaleuca so they can make a fair assessment and judge whether this is something they want to participate in or not. So the goal is for them to have a short and sweet approach.
If you keep it simple, you're going to get more appointments than you would if you give them all kinds of information of what Melaleuca is before they get a chance to look at it.
That's absolutely true. I mean, I've seen people start to learn too much and they explain all the ingredients and the vitamins. Keep it simple, get the appointment.
They think that the more that they tell their prospect, the greater the possibility that prospect will come and sit down and listen to the presentation. That couldn't be further from the truth. The more that you tell that person, the more information you're going to give them to satisfy curiosity and interest. It's the curiosity and the interest that you have to lead them with. And that's what's going to make them show up to listen to the presentation.
One of the most important things is to be natural and be yourself. So if you called someone up and invited them to go to a social event, you would be yourself, and you should speak in that exact same language and tone when you ask for the appointment. You don't want to, again, sound like a salesman. If I could show you a way to, just call the person up and say, hey, Phil, what's up, bud? How's it going? Be natural, be yourself, like you always talk to that person.
Yeah, because if my brother Dave called me with a canned approach, I'd say, hey, man, it's me. What are you talking about here? You should be yourself.
You have to determine with people with your new people, what their relationship is with that person, and that's how you determine what the approach is. So if you think somebody would be really good at Melaleuca, then that's what you say. I just approached a friend of a friend the other day. I called her and I said, Audrey, I wondered if you'd be open to taking a look at my business. I work from home. It's been awesome for me. I met you the other night, and you just seem like the type of person that would be great at what I do. I mean, I don't know what your situation is. She goes, I'm open to taking a look. You know, just a simple, honest approach.
Be prepared with a compliment. For instance, I might say, you know, Dave, I just admire the way you run your business. You work so well with people. I would even ask him, do you enjoy working with people? And say, well, sure. Well, if you like working with people, you would love to do what I do. I'd love to sit down and show it to you.
Of course they're going to ask questions, and I teach people that you have to respect that, but you don't want to try to give them just a little piece of the presentation on the approach. You want to save that time so you can give them all of the information. So if they're getting well, what is it? Well, it's Melaleuca. Have you ever heard of it? No, I've never heard of it. Well, Melaleuca is a catalog shopping company, which I'd love to explain to you, but it takes about 45 minutes. And I go back to, we need to sit down so you can get a full picture.
Sometimes people will be so adamant about not getting together with you that you need to use the $1 million objection handling response. I call it that because this is the response that Kim Cerveni used on Rebecca Connor. And so this is how it goes. As the story goes, Kim had the appointment set for Rebecca to come over and take a look at the Melaleuca business. And Rebecca calls Kim and says, well, I don't think I want to get together with you. I don't think this is for me. I just don't want to do it. And Kim said, well, you know, it's okay to say no, but at least let's get together so you can get all the information and make an intelligent decision. And Rebecca Connor got together with Kim, and because of that, they both made millions of dollars. And it's a great way to handle the objection.
Some of the key phrases are, I wanted to take a quick minute, or I was just on my way out the door. What that does is eliminates a lot of questions. Another I use is that I guarantee you it'll be worth 45 minutes of your time. May or may not be for you, but I guarantee it'll be worth 45 minutes of your time. Another one that works really well is when someone says, what is it? My answer is, well, you know, it's visual. Guarantee it'll be worth 45 minutes of your time. What's your schedule like? But it's visual says you really need to sit and see it. And I think the last that I use pretty often is consumer direct marketing, because people will ask you, oh, is this multi-level marketing or is this one of those companies? And my answer is, of course not. It's America's first consumer direct marketing company. Key phrase, it's in the presentation. America's first consumer direct marketing company. That also eliminates a lot of questions. And you go to, again, it's visual. We really need to sit. So what's your schedule like?
When you meet somebody, you can't just jump on them with Melaleuca. You have to develop some sort of a rapport and a relationship. And that might be a 20-minute conversation at a party. It could be you met somebody through another friend at their house. And the best way to get to know somebody is to start asking them questions. Well, what do you do? Well, where do you work? And how many kids do you have?
Before I call someone that I know, in my mind, I kind of prepare. I kind of go through my experiences with this person and kind of give myself a few hot buttons that I might want to touch on. In creating rapport, as I'm establishing that relationship, and this, of course, comes before I do the invitation.
And you want to book the appointment right away. If you're calling them on Tuesday, you want to meet with them within 2 days. You don't want it to be a week out. It's too much time goes by. You want to always try to keep the ball rolling in Melaleuca.
When you're asking for the appointment, be prepared to offer options. You don't want a yes or no. For instance, do you want to see a presentation? The answer may be no. Are you interested? The answer may be I'm too busy. So you say, well, what works better for you, Thursday or Friday for lunch? Well, Thursday looks kind of tied up, but Friday looks good. Great, meet you for lunch on Friday.
So that may sound like a lot of information, but it's really simple. There's just a few key points. Number one, make sure that your posture is always strong and where it needs to be. Be sure to keep it simple. Be prepared. Know the person that you're going to speak to. Know your prospect. You want to be natural and use key phrases as opposed to canned, memorized scripts. When you ask for the appointment, always be yourself. Use your natural voice. Secondly, be sure to always compliment the person. That works really well. And always offer 2 options for the actual appointment. If you do that, I guarantee you'll get the appointment every single time.